Hi there. So today we are going to learn something very basic but very strong when it comes to working with very complex models. For example, working with multi-product in a warehouse setting. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to start a new model, and just to keep in mind, we are not going to be using the 3D model method. We are going to be doing it plainly by the process flow method. So let's create a general process flow. And the first thing we're going to do, we are going to create an inter-arrival source and we are going to keep it here. So let's say every 0 to 10 second we get uh, item or a token. So it's called a token in FlexSim from the process flow. So you can define a name of the token. Otherwise, it's just token. Okay. So now, since let's say we're going to work with three types of product. So let's assign a label. So now we have a label. So the product or token that is created in the source, we are going to assign to that token and we are going to name it product. And let's use the uniform value 1 and 2. That means two type of product. Okay, now that we have got the products, we want to have, we want to create the object. Okay, so from the token, we are going to create the object. And we want the objects to be visible on the 3D. So for that, let's say we're going to create two QE element, QE1 for product 1, QE2 for product 2. Okay. So now in the create object, we are going to create two types of product, box and a sphere. So if we see in our flow item, we have got box, cylinder, sphere, pallet. So we're going to create box and the pallet. So box is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 for box, 4 for pallet. So you will understand that very quick. So here the object is going to be defined by a conditional object. Okay. So token dot product, which we defined in the assign level. If it is 1, then I want the object to be a box, and if it's value other than 1, then I want it to be the value of 4, which is going to be my palette. So now I want one quantity assigned to token item. Okay, everything is okay. So now once the object is created, I want the object to become visible on the QE, because in the create object I have no option to I have no destination, or I don't have any option to mention. Okay, I want the items to be visible here. So we are going to do that using the move object, drag, drop, connect. So up to create object, move object. So we want token dot item, token dot destination. Okay. So let's see if we can do using a conditional object. Okay, conditional object. So token dot product equals to 1. I want it to become visible at QE1, and if it's not, I want them to be visible at QE2. So up to this, if I run it, I can see the products are appearing. So these were my palettes, but still I'm not seeing my boxes. Okay, here are the boxes. Okay, see if I go a little faster. Hmm, nice. So I have the boxes I appeared on the QE element. Okay, so now I want these boxes to be stored in a two types of rack, one for product one, one for product two. Let's say I keep the rack one here and I keep the rack two here. Okay, so now let's say I want to store my products into this rack. So let's take another move to block, move move object, and I want to tell them conditional object. Okay, same condition product product equals to 1. So what we want to do? So product equals to 1. If true, it should be stored in rack 1, and if not, it should be stored in rack 2. Okay. So now if I run this, I can see it's storing there. Okay, so the move object, uh, something is wrong here. They are not flowing. Okay, so let's start from the beginning and a little slow. Okay, um, okay, so now they're storing in the rack. Another thing to notice is that if you don't want the rack to start from the bottom, let's say we want to store the items randomly with space. Okay, so random and space. Okay, now if I run it, okay, I can see boxes are coming to rack 1 and rack 2 is containing only the pallets. Okay, so now let's say I want to make it more complex. Let's say I want two operators and they're going to carry the products to the rack. So each operator is going to be assigned for only one type of product. So let's say if you want to do that, let's say from here, let's separate it and let's keep it here. And from here, let's say we create two types of operator in the 3D first. So let's say this is going to be my operator 1 and this is going to be my operator 2. Okay, so now let's create two resources here. Resources. So after moving, we need to acquire the operators. So before we do that, we are going to assign another label and we are going to assign level to token. We are going to name it resource name and the value it's going to take is going to be let's see if the value is assign level to token. So the value is going to be conditional value. Mm, so I'm going to assign it to token. It's going to be named conditional value. So let's say token dot product equals to 1 worker 2. Okay, So let's see if they allow me to do that. I think there is another. So resource name is this one. Hmm. So if I were to make it simple, return token dot product equals to 1. So if you are not familiar with this, so this is called flex script. Okay, so I want to return the worker 1. It has to be a string. If this is not true, I want it to return worker 2. So it's resource, but I'm going to change the name of it. So apply to all, apply, okay. So let's change this to worker 2. Okay. So in the assigned levels, I have the conditional value. Now let's see. Okay, so now I'm getting the assigned levels, so that means I can easily uh, acquire the needed resource. So I'm going to acquire the resource and I'm going to connect it here. So acquire resource. Let's hide this, hide this. Okay, resource reference is going to be resource named. Let's see, token dot resource name. So that's our resource name. We don't need anything else. So now let's see if these two are being acquired or not. Yes, so these are being acquired. So that means it's working. So now after acquiring, I want my operators to load the boxes and the pallet. Now let's see load. I have to click here, load, and connect it here. So in the load, the executioner is going to be definitely the token dot whatever the name we put in the acquire token dot resource. Okay, so the executioner is going to be my resource, not resource name. Resource. I guess resource name will also work because it's containing the same thing. So token dot item. So yes, now let's run it. Okay, I can see they have loaded. So now I need to tell them to travel to the racks. So reset and go to the racks. Executioner is the resource again, and the destination is going to be by conditional object. So if it is product equals to 1, so it will be stored in rack 1, but if not, then it will be stored in rack 2. So after going, let's see. Okay, so I can see they have traveled to the racks. So I need to tell them to unload at the racks also. So now after traveling, the operator needs to unload, unload that token dot the station is going to be my let's say if I can store it somewhere. Destination I cannot do it. So unload is going to be conditional object product equals to 1. Let me just see if this is working. Okay. So rack 1, rack 2. Okay, so I can see they have stored unloaded it on the rack. So now I want my operators to get back and keep doing the same thing. So in order to do that, we need to release the workers. So after acquiring, there should be a release option. Acquire and release. Okay, let's hide this. Release. Okay, so the resource to release is the resource, and this should work. So now let's see. So yeah, they are working pretty good. So if you think carefully, the same thing can be applied for the conveyors, or if you want anything after that. So this is a very handy technique. So comment below what else should I cover in my next video. Until then, I want you to have a great day, stay safe, and see you again.